Hey everybody, welcome to a late night-ish edition of Omnibros Live on a Wednesday where we go over some news and Q&A and all that fun stuff. Welcome everybody, Gio here. I am joined by the awesome Comics Guide 101. How you doing, buddy?
Hey man, how's it going?
Doing pretty well. Sorry that we started a little bit late. Had to deal with some technical
hmm
hijinks and nonsense, but we're here. I didn't forget about the chat. I didn't forget about all the wonderful subscribers. Today is jam packed full of news and interesting topics while we discuss whatever the chat wants to talk about. Um, oh, look at this Commander Monkey. Look at
Wow,
all the animal emojis. This
you
just,
threw
or emoticons or whatever. This just made my night.
threw in the whole animal kingdom there.
I don't know what that means, but I dig it. Also, shout out to another Omni Dog that joined the club, butt clenching Omni Dog. Unless it's the real Omni Dog, I don't know. Lou, did you watch Shang Chi?
No, I didn't get a
You haven't
chance to
seen it
watch
yet?
it yet. No. My fiance wasn't feeling too well, so I
Okay.
didn't get a chance to watch it yet. I don't know when I'm going to watch it. To be honest with you, I might just end up waiting for the Disney Plus release.
For the
Like,
streaming,
yeah, in like 2-3 months, whenever that drops.
I haven't. I have. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna go any to watch it in any theater or whatever. So, but I'm happy that it's broken so many records and all that fun stuff, and it has like a
hmm
super high rating. That's great. Good for them.
I am too. I'm very happy. I know that there were certain areas of the internet that wanted the film to fail, and it's like, come on, it's a Marvel film. You really thought this one would fail?
Oh yeah.
Um, so it's doing great. I'm happy for them. I know they worked really hard, and by all accounts, from what I've heard, it's actually a really good movie.
Mm-hmm. So we're not going to talk about it yet. If somebody ends up watching it next week, maybe we'll discuss whatever. But there's some other topics involved that I wanted to
hmm
mention.
hmm
Let's just get the comic book news out of the way
Okay.
before we go into media. And shout out to the chat.
Okay.
Last, I want to say like 5 days ago was the 10th anniversary of the DC New 52 era.
Wow.
It's already been 10 years.
Jeez.
And to celebrate, we had that oversized deluxe edition hardcover that nobody bought. Um, that it was just a bunch of first issues of a couple of the best selling New 52 issues
hmm
or series. But I wanted to bring the topic up because it's been 10 years.
Man.
Uh, what was your experience like going into the New 52? Or what were some of your favorite highlights from that era? Because, yeah, it's officially an era because it's been a decade.
Man, New 52. Well, I think for me, they got more things right than wrong for the most
Yeah.
part with New 52. Um, I remember the first time New 52 dropped, and it was that Justice League #1 issue. That was something big because if I remember correctly, I think DC took a month off from releasing anything after Flashpoint.
Yeah, yeah.
And the first issue, they just had one issue that week, was Justice League #1 by Jeff Johns and Jim Lee. And I didn't pick it up, but I had it in my pull box. It was the second week that I stopped by where they had Batman #1, Animal Man #1, and a few other banger titles out there on that second week.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember going to the comic shop, and there was a line. This was in Lakeland. It was a small, like, hole in the wall comic shop. There was a line stretching around the building for people to pick up comics, and that was the most excited that I think I've ever seen the guy that owns the shop there. He was just ecstatic.
Oh, I can
Um,
imagine.
yeah, man. It was the buzz around New 52 was something really special, and I think at the time people didn't realize it. But looking back on it now, that New 52 was a gateway for a lot of people to try out some new books and stuff like that. Me
Yeah.
too. Me personally, I never read Animal Man before that. I was never really into action comics before that, and Grant Morrison had a strong start to action comics, in my opinion. It kind of teetered off after the first few issues for me. I never read a Wonder Woman title before New 52. Brian Azzarello's Wonder Woman is actually one of my favorite Wonder Woman stories. I think it's so fucking good. And I think Cliff Chang is the one that does the art on that.
Yeah.
Beautiful art by Cliff Chang throughout that whole book. So New 52 in a nutshell, I think for the most part, I would say it's probably a success because you had so many great titles, so many great writers that were just firing on all cylinders. And Demon Knights, butt clenching Omnidog, never got the recognition it deserved. Demon Knights was a cut above most of those other books, but didn't last long. What about you, man?
My story is that basically I had read a couple of Marvel books. Obviously, I read from both the big two growing up, but I wasn't an active comic book reader. And a friend of mine, when I first started doing what would eventually be my YouTube channel, it was originally a podcast. And a friend of mine wanted me to get into comics and said, "Oh, they're doing Flashpoint. It's going to rewrite the universe." And all brand new number ones in September of that year. That's a perfect jumping on point. I'm like, I don't know. No, you got to try it. So I did. And I think I read almost everything of the 52 titles. And I was just enamored by everything that I read. And it made me seek out collected editions and made me a DC fan and all that wonderful stuff. Like I already liked DC characters, but I wasn't like super fanboy about everything. But yeah, like you said, wonderful runs that I would not have discovered, and I immediately fell in love with, like New 52, Wonder Woman, Swamp Thing, the Aquaman, of course, stuff like that. Justice League Dark. To this day, it's my favorite Justice League variant, if you will. I love that concept as a teen book. And yeah, just wonderful memories. Demon Knights, Frankenstein, Agents of Shade, Animal Man, even the crappy ones like the Blue Beetle stuff and Hawk and Dove. And even that stuff, I still remember fondly because I was just trying out whatever they were putting out. And I remember, for example, the Teen Titans run from oh my gosh, who was the writer for New 52 Teen Titans? Scott Lobdell.
Yeah.
Even when I first read it, I'm like, this isn't great, but I'm going to keep reading because at least it has really cool Brett Booth artwork. And obviously Batman was a hit, and it did what it set out to do. It sold a lot of money, and it introduced comics to a new generation of readers. And I think that will forever be its legacy for the New 52.
Yeah, I think some of the stuff that we've talked about in the last few weeks and months regarding accessibility and how comics can reach a new audience, I think New 52 struck that balance really well. They marketed it perfectly, and they really hit the ground running, saying it got kind of mixed towards the middle of it, but saying, no, this is a brand new universe. You guys can jump in number one. You don't have to worry about anything else. Please jump in. All the entire line is going number one issues. Everything with new characters. We're going to shake up the writers, and I think every couple of years, I think that's not a bad idea, to be honest with you. I don't think. I obviously don't do this every single year. I think Marvel Now's problem was that they kept doing it over the span of 4 or 5 issues. Then you get a new. Yeah, it was too much. You get a new number one after like 4 or 5 issues. That was way too much. But I think maybe after every 10 or so years, okay, we're going to start the line all over again. Number ones. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think if you market it right, you'll be able to kind of get in a new generation of people, because I know people that they'd never really read a Batman comic, but they read Scott Snyder's Batman. They started with that, and they eventually jumped in. We've got people in chat saying right now they never read certain characters, and they picked up an Aquaman number one, or they picked up a Wonder Woman number one, and they found that they love that stuff. So overall, I think New 52 is definitely a success, and There were certain books like Grifter. Do you remember that? Do you remember that Grifter was
Oh,
a
how could I forget? Let's show that. Drifter number 0 from our buddy Rob Liefeld.
Yeah, that was not good. That was not good.
Let me see if I can find the image.
There
There
was
were
Grif.
some hot turds in the later portion of the New 52,
Yeah,
but they tried.
they tried. They tried. There was Grifter. There was that Green Arrow book that launched with Scott Lobdell was horrible.
I think it was no, it was
Was it
Ann
Lobdell?
Nesenti.
It was Ann Nesenti?
Yeah,
That was terrible.
yeah, because then it got rebooted midway with Jeff Lemire in issue 16, I think.
Yeah, and I just love the fact that Jeff Lemire just ignored everything that came before it and just started with his story. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Yep, good. Yep.
Same with Superman. Superman was it George Perez, and then they gave it to somebody else, something like that. It wasn't that great.
Yeah, that Superman story was not good. I remember that not being that great, and then it picked up a little bit. But I remember of the Superman titles, I think Action Comics was a bit of the more interesting one. It was Grant Morrison. He was writing the New 52 Superman, and it was a younger Superman.
Look at this bad boy. Sorry to interrupt.
That is a horrible cover.
Everybody, please, moment of silence. Look at that. Look at the gun. Let me zoom in. Look at that wonderful gun with that blast effect. I don't know what's happening here because he's not pulling the trigger. He's just holding the little handlebar thing.
Yep.
Wolverine type hairy arms. A knife, random feet.
Even by Leafield standards, that's pretty fucking terrible.
Yeah, I think this was probably a rushed job. Like, we need a cover, go. And he just threw it all together.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I also love the fact that Grant Morrison's Batman, he finished it. New 52 was well into it, and Grant Morrison was like, I'm going to finish my damn story. I wish we could have gotten more of that Batman and Robin run, but he finished it.
Yep. Oof, what did he do to my boy Grifter? He massacred Grifter. Sorry, butt clenching Omnidog. I found this piece of metal in a collapsed building. Might as well use it to shoot bad guys. Yeah, for sure.
I think you're right. That looks like a bit of a rush job.
Yeah. So overall, I think it was a success, and it really modernized the characters for movie adaptations, for cartoons, for video games. It was like that much needed stepping stone for the new century, if you will. So yeah, this deluxe edition sucks. Don't get it, but happy 10th anniversary New 52. If by any chance you want to pick up that book, or if you want to pick other New 52 titles, of course, you can do so by visiting our sponsor, InStockTrades.com, where you can get your favorite omnibus, collected editions, manga, hardcovers, trade paperbacks, all that wonderful stuff, up to 50% off. There are some wonderful weekly specials out there with books. I think I saw one of the Captain America omnibus for like 55% off, something crazy like that. So you might want to check that out. Just head on over to InStockTrades.com. $50 or more in your order gets you free shipping, fantastic customer service, wonderful packaging, and of course, if you are a watcher of this channel, at the end of every month, we do a random gift card giveaway for $50, open to international waters. That is all courtesy of InStockTrades.com.
Okay. Hey, quick question. Since you just gave me an idea for a video, I'm gonna end up doing this. What is your favorite? Like out of all of them, what was your favorite New 52 book?
Oh, come on, that's easy.
I know you're okay. Aside from the obvious one,
aside from Aquaman,
right?
Either Wonder Woman or I'm debating if I would choose let's go with Wonder Woman and Animal Man.
Okay, cool.
I like those, but
Okay.
then again, I don't know, because Demon Knights was fantastic and Justice League Dark 2, but whatever. Wonder Woman and Aquaman were probably my two favorite books out of that era.
Okay.
All right, so I saw it. I wasn't going to talk about it because I haven't read the issue, but I do want to mention it. Somebody was talking about it earlier in the chat. Marvel is rewriting the wonderful Sins Past storyline from Amazing Spider-Man with Gwen Stacy and Norman Osborn and all that stuff. So they're rewriting it, but I don't have the details because I'm not up to date with Spider-Man. I haven't read it in like a solid 2 years, so I am way behind on that. But good for them. I don't mind it because as a fan, you just kind of forget all the crappy stories. I don't think you needed to make a hubbub of rewriting an infamous storyline. Just cool. Now people can canonically forget about that story.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I wanted to mention is What If. Let's talk a little bit about the What If shows.
Yeah.
What If episode, sorry. So we're all caught up. You
Yes.
watched everything. I watched everything.
Yeah.
Last time we talked about the first two episodes. What did you think about episode 3 of What If?
Man, that one was actually interesting. Up until I saw episode 4,
Yeah.
I thought that was probably the best one. Because I'm like, wow, they actually killed off the Avengers in fairly gruesome ways. And the big... We probably shouldn't talk spoil. Well, I mean, it's been 2 weeks.
Mild spoilers, guys.
Not spoilers. Okay.
Let's not ruin the whole show, but like a couple things here and there.
I dug the big reveal of who it was that was killing the Avengers. I thought that was really an interesting take.
Yeah.
It definitely was different from the other two. Well, from the first episode. I still think personally out of the 5 episodes that are out right now, I think the first one is definitely the weakest.
Oh, that first episode's terrible.
Yeah, I really think they should not have started with that episode.
No.
That said, seeing how Hulk dies is terrifying. And they kind of almost did the Thanos butt thing that everybody wanted them to do when you think about it, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, essentially, it's a what if on the first Avengers movie and how it goes horribly wrong. Mm-hmm. It's not until you get a catchphrase in the middle of the episode where you finally realize what's happening.
Yeah.
There's a key phrase, and then it takes a turn for the better, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I especially liked, because spoilers, Loki shows up. I really liked his participation in the episode. I thought that was interesting. And how he ends up at the end of the story was interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, no, I like that episode. I liked as a standalone story, it worked really well. I definitely like the concept of what would happen if the Avengers had died before the big event in New York. I'm almost pretty sure. I think we're going to return to that universe because we've seen in the trailer a brief moment where we see T'Challa, Star-Lord, Captain Carter in that New York scene. So I'm kind of wondering if in this particular universe we're going to come back to it and we're going to see what if New York, but with all these characters inserted into that scene.
Yep.
So I think that I could see them doing that as like their big final episode. How many episodes is this supposed to be? 8?
9 episodes.
9 episodes.
Yeah.
Overall, I mean, if I had to score that one, I think I'd give it a 7. What I'm really looking for, what if, is major changes. I really like the episodes that huge implications and huge changes happen. And I think the strongest episodes so far have been that one. The one with Star-Lord, the ones that we're going to talk about next up, I think are the stronger episodes.
Yeah. I will address this, Phil, before I get any hate, because you know it's coming and somebody's going to hit the dislike button. God bless. But thank you for watching, though. The animation is terrible. I genuinely do not like the animation in this show.
Same.
Sometimes, especially in episode 5, the one that aired today with the Marvel Zombies, sometimes it looks okay and I dig it, but other times it just looks terrible. I'm not a fan of the the comic book look with like cell shaded, trying to imitate real life, and the actors' faces. Like, nah, I would have preferred the stylized version for this show.
Right.
Um,
You know what it kind of reminds me? Do you remember in the mid 2000s when MTV did a Spider-Man TV show?
oh yeah, that's perfect. Yep, the 3D Spider-Man show. It looks like that, and that I'm not saying the show's bad because the episodes 3 to 5 have been great story wise. It's just the animation's really lackluster. And Phil brings up another good point. The voice acting isn't great all the time,
No.
even with the pros.
No, it's not.
Sebastian Stan was on the first episode voicing Bucky, and he was terrible. And then he shows up in episode 5 again, and he's a lot better at voicing the character. I'm like, what the hell happened? Did they record this at 2 totally separate times? Like, one episode was a year ago, and then the other one was like 5 months ago or something like that. It was really off.
Yeah, I kind of have to wonder if that's the thing where they did the first episode. They probably had Sebastian Stan, okay, we've got you for a day to record these lines for this Captain Carter episode.
Yeah.
And then they saw what they had and they went, oh, no, honey. No, we're not doing that. You need to work on this. Because it's weird, like you mentioned, because it's almost across the board. That first episode, the voice acting is rough. Really rough on that first episode.
Oh yeah.
Second episode is much better. Third episode again much better. And fourth episode's good. For the fourth episode, was that Cumberbatch? Or was that another voice actor?
No, that was Cumberbatch.
It was pretty good. He did good.
I'm trying to look for the poster because Marvel has been releasing some fun posters for each episode. So episode 4 is what if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands.
My favorite episode.
That was extremely dark for a Marvel animated thing.
Yeah, no, that is definitely my favorite episode. So in this particular universe, slight spoilers just to set this up. In this particular universe, the woman that he loves, I forgot her name, she ends up
Christine Palmer.
Thank you. She ends up dying in the car accident that messed up Doctor Strange's hands. And the thing is that Strange goes to Kamar-Taj, does the whole thing. He ends up getting the time stone. He ends up trying to reverse that accident. And in this universe, it is a focal point. It is a point that does not change. No matter what he does, it keeps happening. She has to die in this particular universe. It leads to arguably one of the darkest moments, if you want to count this as part of the MCU, like Feige says it is. It leads to arguably one of the darkest moments in the MCU, if not the darkest.
Yeah. I mean, we already have the banner here. Hopefully, everyone's been watching that show, but I enjoyed that essentially it's a multiverse within a multiverse because Strange ends up split into 2 personalities. One's good, the other one's desperate and sad and depressed and turns to the dark side of magic and all that wacky nonsense. Is the tentacle monster the same one from episode 1? Do you think it's the same one?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I thought it was. What's the monster from the Marvel vs. Capcom games? Shumagorath.
Okay.
When I first saw the Captain Carter episode and I saw that scene at the end with the tentacles, and now in this episode, I'm like, are we doing Shumagorath? Because that would be pretty dope. Yes, please.
I really don't know. This ending was a downer, though.
Yeah, but I mean, I did like that they acknowledged the Watcher's presence, It reminded me a lot of the comics when characters actually are able to sense him and interact with Uatu. So I enjoyed that part. But the end result, yeah, that was pretty tragic.
Yeah.
And the other episode, if I can hold this up here, I want to do this image because this is pretty cool. Give me a second here. Is what if zombies? It's not an intricate title, folks. What if zombies? So this is for me the best so far from What If. I absolutely loved it. Of course, I'm biased because I love zombie stories.
Mhm.
I'm a huge zombie fanatic, so I was really excited for this. I love their introduction via the Ultimate Fantastic Four in the comic books, and obviously their main series, and then they did the Omnibus or however it's called. And so I was really excited, and now we finally got him canonically in the MCU with Episode 5, which is essentially a take on Infinity War. And in this version, let's see how much I can spoil. It starts with the Hulk arriving, same like in Infinity War, but nobody's there. And he finds that zombies are everywhere, zombie apocalypse. And what makes it worse, just like the original comics, is that when you've got super powered zombies, good luck trying to survive that.
Yeah.
And everything just goes to hell from there. And you have a really, really interesting. It's like they took all the MCU characters and put them in a name generator, and let's just get the most weird team ever. So we have Hulk, obviously, Bruce Banner. We've got Peter Parker, Bucky, Okoye, Sharon Carter, Happy Hogan, and Kurt of all people. And I was like, who the hell is Kurt? Turns out it was the guy from the Ant-Man movies, which I did not care for, but good to see him there.
David Dastmalchian. That dude's getting work, man.
He was in what was the thing that was popular now?
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, right? Polka Dot Man.
Yeah, that dude's been getting work lately, man. He's having a hell of a year. He was Polka Dot Man. He was in this. He's gonna be in Dune. So
he's in Dune. Nice.
He's in Dune. Yeah, he plays a pretty good chunky role in Dune for if it follows the books.
Oh, interesting. So yeah, what did you think of the zombie episode?
I thought it was fun. I thought this was a lot of fun. There were several moments that I know we complained about the animation, that I actually enjoyed the animation, and I thought it worked pretty well.
Out of everything, it has the best animation so far.
I think so. The sequence in the train with Bucky and Zombie Cap was actually really cool, where you see him like pop up and his jaw's just hanging. I was like, wow, that's actually a really striking image. They did really well on that. They keep teasing us, man. When is Bucky gonna get that?
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, oh, here we go. He has the shield again.
It's like, dude, it takes a zombie apocalypse for the poor guy to get the shield. So hey, he gets it. I like the fact that they were not necessarily it's Disney Plus and it's a Marvel property. They're not gonna go all out with blood and guts and like ripping people from limb to limb. But they pushed it pretty far as far as I think they could with the zombie concept. There were definitely some shocking deaths. I love that Happy Hogan, out of all the characters, was one of the ones that survived the apocalypse.
How the hell did that guy? I mean, he was hanging out with Spider-Man. I get it.
Yeah.
But like, how the hell did he survive?
Yeah, and here's the crazy thing. So we mentioned this in the chat. I thought that was Tom Holland. I honestly did.
When I wrote back when I started watching the episode, I'm like, this doesn't sound like Tom. I think it's another voice actor. And then he started sounding a lot like him, and I'm like, I guess they really got Tom Holland. And then no, I looked at the credits and it was somebody else. But he really pulled it off.
He did. There were several moments where I was like, wow, is that Tom Holland? This cast was star-studded. There was one particular moment where I'm like, God damn it. And it was the very end with T'Challa and Chadwick Boseman's voice. And it's Chadwick saying those lines.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't even hit you a little bit in the feels, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess we have the spoiler tab, so if we're spoiling it, you were warned.
Okay.
In the episode, the one character I did not mention on purpose was Hope Van Dyne. The cause of the zombie plague. I was very interested to see how the plague was going to start because
Hmm.
it's different from the comics. And yeah, in the quantum realm, we discovered that Janet, when Hank Pym was searching for her, she was, I guess, infected by a
Hmm.
zombie-like virus over there. Kind of Deus Ex-ish, if you will, to throw that in there, but whatever. And I was really happy to see Hope because I love Wasp, and the way that she was taking out the zombies was pretty freaking badass.
Yeah.
Blowing heads off and going inside their bodies and then exploding by going giant Hope. That was badass.
That was
And
great.
then we have a tie-in for something that a lot of people are excited for. There's an upcoming Spider-Man episode where it's the Zombie Hunter Spider-Man. There's a hot toy for it. There's a Marvel Legends, and we
Huh.
have a bunch of pictures. So now I think we know that it's going to be in this episode because Peter does survive the episode, and he's with the cloak of levitation from Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange obviously succumbed to the zombie virus,
Hmm.
and the cloak was awesome in the episode. He took down, or it took down several zombies in pretty awesome fashion.
Yeah. I'm
Uh,
kind of wondering if how many more of these universes we're going to revisit, because it's got to be kind of taxing for these people to come up with these concepts of a what if universe. Obviously, I don't think we're going to be visiting the Doctor Strange one. Captain Carter is pretty much a given. We're going to just how that episode ends. She's going to
yeah.
pop in, and we've seen that she pops back in to a certain extent.
Mhm.
I think Star Lord, we're probably going to pop back in.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I'm curious about that.
I remember when it was first announced, they said that each episode is supposed to cover a different Marvel movie.
Huh.
And I'm looking right here at the voice cast, and some characters haven't appeared. We still need to watch the Killmonger episode where he saves Tony.
Mhm.
Jane Foster's going to be in the series. Grandmaster, uh, Korg, Batroc the Leaper. All these characters from the movies are going to show up, but we haven't seen them yet. What else? I'm reading over here. War Machine's going to be in it.
Mhm.
Party Thor. I'm really excited for that. I want to see what's up with Party Thor. Chris Hemsworth is listed as voicing Party Thor, so I'm excited for that.
Sounds good.
Um, yeah. Also, in the episode, in true zombie movie fashion or tropes, I like that the cast dwindles with each scene, and at the end, we just get like two or three characters remaining as they're trying to escape.
Yeah.
And I was not expecting
That ending.
the character of Vision to show up.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, that was really awesome.
Yeah.
So you that's when I figured, oh, okay, like we're doing Infinity War because at the beginning, some of the children of Thanos fight like at the beginning of the original movie, but at the end, turns out the Mind Stone can reverse the virus, and Vision has been doing some experiments on a couple of people. I was not expecting that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, overall, loved it. I don't want to ruin it too much in case you're still watching this. So I left out some details, but go watch it. That was definitely, if all the episodes can be like this, I think the show can be redeemed
How
compared to the
great?
compared to the
Sorry.
start
How great was
of the
that
series.
final? How great was that final shot?
Oh yeah, when somebody shows up at the end, yeah, I thought, man, I mean, there's hope. I dig it. And then the final shot, I'm like, no, no, forget what I said.
Nope. We're done.
We're done here. But yeah, I hope they do revisit. I think they're going to revisit the episode because, like I said, let me Zombie Hunter Spider Man. Let me show you that off real quick, just in case nobody Nobody knows what I'm talking about. Or, mm, 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 mm.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been loving about this. They haven't been afraid to go dark. They haven't been afraid to do some to
Yeah,
fuck shit up. But I mean, the Doctor Strange episode especially.
yeah. So here's zombie hunter Peter Parker
Mm-hmm.
has toys and merchandise based on him. So it's a guarantee that we're going to revisit this episode unless we follow your theory that they're going to be plucked from the different scenarios and what if worlds, and they're going to show up um, to form a new team or something,
Mm-hmm.
like you said with Captain Carter. That's always a possibility. Or watch him not do any of that, and we just look like fools tonight. So yeah, what if? I like it. I like when they prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the rest of the series, and hopefully it's great. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, everybody knows, it's no secret. I'm going to pull up the picture. We had some updates on the Aquaman movie, and my boy Jason Momoa is going to be wearing the '80s stealth suit.
Mm-hmm.
That is really cool. A lot of people were asking, "Oh, if he's going to switch costumes," and they debunked that and said, "No, he's going to wear the original suit and he's going to use the stealth suit." So I'm excited for that. Let's see if I can get a picture here. And they showed Patrick Wilson looking all kinds of.
That dude got jacked. He is cut.
Yeah. I assume he's in exile because they have the picture of him behind the scenes with James Wan, and you see him with a beard and long hair, no shirt, in the desert. So I think he's probably exiled from Atlantis or something like that. So yeah, here's the stealth suit, which is interesting for two reasons. From what I've been reading online, the main sources obviously is the original camo blue suit that everybody knows. I put it up on the thumbnail for this episode, but it's also based on the Earth 3 King of the, or the Sea King, which was the evil version from Forever Evil in the New 52. And I really enjoyed that. I like that, where you're able to mash concepts like that, and I dig it. I read that Ivan Reis is one of the concept artists for the movie as well, so that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland Brown, yes, Patrick Wilson is an underrated actor, for sure.
Just loves it when you message him that, by the way.
Yes, please. If he does a show on his channel, not ours, but if he does a show on Omni Dogs Vault, remind him, like, hey, Patrick Wilson is an underrated, amazing actor.
He loves him.
Yeah. Is that a Lord of the Rings shirt? No, just a random shirt. It's circular. I could see why you would ask that for the ring. What if May is a dirty aunt? That would be an interesting episode, but I don't think Disney Plus would air it.
No.
Maybe a Blu-ray exclusive episode.
I mean, Marissa Tomei was in The Wrestler, and she was a stripper in that movie, so.
There you go. That's the what if.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited. I don't know anything about the movie yet. Obviously, I'm trying to not read about this and just go in as blind as possible when that movie comes out in next year, 2022.
Next year.
So I'm super excited, but I'm not reading more into it. If I see a cool picture like that, I'm going to share it, but that's about it. I'm excited to see if they do some awesome reveals and all that stuff. So here's the regular costume and the new suit. Do you like the blue suit?
I'm digging it. Yeah. I'm digging it. I'm kind of wondering if, because we know they were working on a Trench movie, and James Wan was a part of it. I'm kind of wondering if maybe they'll take elements from the Trench and put it into this.
Yeah. Here, for sure. I think they'll add everything into one massive movie. Here is the Sea King, just if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is a character from Earth 3 that showed up in the Forever Evil event. So as you can see, falls more a little bit in line with this version, not necessarily the stealth suit, which is... I should have saved all the pictures, but I was lazy.
Hey, quick question. How did he get the hook hand in the comics? Because I know in the Justice League animated TV series, they made a badass episode of how he got the hook hand.
It wasn't as badass. One of the bad guys lowered his hand into a pool or a lake of piranhas, and they
Really?
chewed off his hand.
Whew.
Yeah. I can never say the name of the villain. It's always a tongue twister for me. But the villain is known just for that because he's not that great of a villain, in my opinion. But that was a pretty memorable scene in the book. Actually, let me get that book real quick. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
Cool. No problem.
All right, I'm back.
Hey, there we
Thank
go.
you for that wonderful music interlude.
No problem.
So, yeah, let me get Momoa off the screen. Sorry, buddy. There we go. So if you get this book, fortunately, it was canceled, right? So we're not getting a third trade paperback. I hope it's the right one. If not, I'm going to be pissed. What the hell? It's got to be this one. Only two, right? There's Superman. No, not Superman that I'm looking for.
I think we could take the spoiler tag down, right?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. My bad. Sorry, folks.
You good.
Jesse Saywood, thank you for joining. Do you see any questions in the chat while I look for this freaking image?
Sure.
It's in the first one. Damn it. It's not on the
Marcelo
page.
Ramos.
I'll be right back.
Forsaken V12 says we need a reprint of the Marvel's Omnibus. I know most people didn't like it, but I want to read it. I think that book was on clearance for a good amount of time. I know if you email Omar around 3 a.m, that's when he's usually up, and you spam his email account with that information, I'm sure he'll get back to you.
He was just live or is live doing a video or a stream. You can ask him there.
There you
I'm
go.
sure he's going to appreciate it. What was the question? Omnibus?
Yeah, about a Marvel's Omnibus. If we'll get I don't think we'll ever get a reprint of that.
Maybe it depends on the reception of this episode.
Yeah.
People dig it enough, they'll be like, yeah, we're going to print it again. I always assume everything will be reprinted. It's just, it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. Hey, Lou, you still reading Double D? I heard it's ending after issue 36.
I am behind, unfortunately, like everything else in my life right now. It's kind of taking a back burner because I've been trying to burn through Dune before the movie comes out. Yeah. But yes, I am reading Daredevil right now, and I am sad that it's ending at issue 36. But if this is the conclusion that Chip Zdarsky had in mind, then hey, it's gonna go out swinging.
Nice.
Found it, Gio?
Nope.
Okay. It's all good.
The hell. I found everything. I found everything else except that panel. There's Dolphin here. I hope Dolphin gets introduced in the movies because she's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Though I still want to see Mira. Don't come at me with all the real world nonsense. I don't care about that. Yeah,
Dune is a great book. Too bad the sequels get progressively worse in quality. I have heard that. Dune is so I'll be honest, the first third of Dune is a slog. And that's mostly because for about 300 pages, close to it, the author is building the universe, and that's when things start getting interesting. It's 300 pages out of like an 800-page book. I'm like, oh my God, I'm ready for something to fucking happen. And then the pace picks up, and it gets really going.
Yeah.
Had it not been for the movie coming out, honestly, I probably would have dropped it.
Yep. I think I got it. Oh my gosh. Am I going to have. Oh, there we go. Yay. Here's the famous issue right there. Famous panel.
Ooh.
Pretty gory. And, man, I'm so annoyed that we only have 2 trades of this. No Omnibus, no Volume 3, no hardcover. This was such an emblematic run for the character. Because I have single issues from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading it. I remember reading parts of the Peter David run.
Do you have any long boxes or anything like that?
I still do, but I sold almost everything. I just kept like the cool variants or like a 6-issue miniseries of this. I'm like, yeah, I'll keep it, whatever. Oh, here's the scene. There we go. All right, let me highlight this. There we go. So he's fighting the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Okay.
it gets really graphic right here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
My God, you look awful. Don't worry. Whatever he did to you, we can cure. Not really, Dolphin. Not really. I don't think you can fix that.
Yeah, we can. Maybe we can cure that.
That has to hurt.
Oh, yeah.
If you touch your own bone, that's got to be really painful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think hurt more, the injury or his pride? Because that's like a D-list villain, isn't it?
But at the time, Peter David was still working on his power set for Aquaman, and like he would get weak, or he wasn't as strong as nowadays. I think more about his pride.
I think his pride hurt a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't Black Manta, it wasn't anybody huge like that you would expect. No, it's just some random dude.
It's what's the name of this guy again? It's a Greek name. Shoot, I'm such a terrible fan. If somebody in the chat can help me out, because I have completely forgotten the name of this dude.
Cleveland Brown asked, DC is not going to finish collecting Peter David's Aquaman run in trades. Geo? ?
Oh no, we had Volume 3 solicited like 2 years ago or something like that, and they canceled it. So, but he got it back in Brightest Day, only to lose it 5 minutes later. That's what happened. Yep. So while I look for the name of this son of a bitch, there were other movies that were coming out. What did you think of the Matrix trailer?
Well, we get the full trailer tomorrow. We got we got a teaser of it.
Gives you sort of a feel for what it's going to be.
Yeah. We know several returning characters are coming back. We know Trinity, Neo, Yaya. I'm almost 100% sure he's playing Morpheus, right? Like that. It
has to be. I think
it has to be.
Yep.
It has to be, and it's going with that theme of resurrection. So it has to be. He has to be playing a younger Morpheus or something like that. So far, I have to be honest. I think, we've only gotten so many little snippets and stuff, but this looks really impressive, and I'm hoping that they can kind of capture the magic of what was captured in 1999. I know, for the most part, it's going to be impossible because, The Matrix was a game changer when it came out in 1999. Nobody had ever really seen a film like that. And do you remember the marketing for that film? What is The Matrix? The poster and everything like that?
I vaguely remember it. I never watched it in theaters. I skipped it. My first time watching The Matrix was when it first came out on DVD.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the experience of watching the bullet time and in a large screen. I watched it on my TV screen.
Same. I had the same thing, but I still remember the marketing behind it of what is the Matrix, and the Matrix can only be shown or something like that. It can't be told what it is. I'm cautiously enthusiastic. I know the Wachowski sisters have not
Mhm.
made something of quality that I like in the last few years, but them coming home again to this property, it's only one of them coming back again to this property that they obviously took their time, because the last one was what, 2004, 2003 was Revolutions?
2005, I think,
2005. Was it?
because I was graduating from high school when that
Okay.
movie came out.
So they could have easily cashed in on this several times. I'm sure WB probably has approached them a numerous amount of times to come back to this property.
Mm-hmm.
And them coming back to it now, at least one of them saying, no, we've got a solid story. We've got something that we want to tell. I'm in. I'm in. I love the concept of resurrections. I think what they're gonna do is explore the concept of the spirit being resurrected and placed back into the Matrix, and maybe that's where they're gonna go with this. And if you listen to the architect and all the bullshit that he was spewing for about 10 minutes in that movie, he talks about how there were people before Neo, and there were different versions and different incarnations of him. So maybe this is another incarnation of Neo that we're seeing right now. Who knows? But I'm super excited.
From what I've gathered, I think he doesn't remember who he is, and or he's forced to take the blue pill or something like that. So he's sort of forgotten as to why he's in the Matrix. And Keanu has his John Wick look, which confused a lot of people. I don't know. I think it's going to be great. I don't think it's going to surpass the original, but I think it's going to be a solid movie, a solid good time watching that movie.
I'm not looking for it to be better than the 1999 movie, because frankly, I don't think it can be.
No, yeah.
But if you give me
that was just a lightning in a bottle, that movie.
Oh, yeah. But if you give me a solid sci-fi film, I'm good. I'll be happy with that. Honestly, my expectations are about there.
Marcelo, thank you. However the hell you named that, I put the book down because we were talking about Matrix, but I found it. Yeah, that is his name. That's from Greek mythology, and how do you say that name?
Charybdis?
I'll go with that. Yeah,
Charybdis?
Diabetes? I like that the character is famous because of the piranhas and them, what he did to Aquaman and unleashing the piranhas so they would eat his hand. Otherwise, he's a terrible villain. But, you know. So there was that movie, Matrix, which comes out at the end of the year, December 22nd, I want to believe.
Right around the time that we're supposed to get a Spider-Man movie. So I don't know what WB is thinking, dropping this around the time that Marvel is dropping their Spider-Man movie. One of them is going to move. I can almost guarantee you one of these films is going to move.
Yeah. I'm looking for the website because I remember this website, the What is the Matrix. I'm not going to show the trailer because I don't want to get copyright.
Yep, the website's back up.
But the website returned. You can see the choice is yours. Whatisthematrix.com. And what I like is that when you choose the pill, it shows you the teaser trailer, and the voiceover actually mentions the time that you're watching the trailer. So if we were to do that right now, it would say 9:36 p.m. or something like that, and it continues.
Stop. Does it do that really?
Yeah. Because I looked at a screenshot, I'm like, why does it say 6 something? And then when I clicked on it, the voiceover said the time that I was watching the trailer yesterday.
That's fantastic.
That blew my mind. I loved it so much. And honestly, The Matrix is such an important movie for sci-fi fans, for movies in general, because it really did impact the whole generation. And it opened the floodgates for all the conspiracy nuts in the world. Like, that movie struck right on the cusp of us getting the internet and social media eventually. And now you have Facebook groups that talk about like the Matrix is real because of this and that. We're living in a simulation. It's all, I mean, those theories were out there, but it's all thanks to this wonderful movie.
Yeah.
So thank you, Matrix.
It also spawned the wave of a bunch of neckbeards wearing black dusters and like that clothes.
I have to tell you something. Back in high school, I studied I studied in a private Catholic school since kindergarten all the way to high school. Graduated from said school, and it was honestly, for us, it was exactly the same as a public school. The only difference was we would have math and religion classes. That's it. Everything else was exactly the same. Well, not counting the uniforms and all that, but it was mostly the same attitude. Everybody was a punk. Don't think it's like the movies or stateside. It was just straight up like a fancier public school. That said, one of the priests looked a lot like Morpheus, and his outfit and all that stuff. We jokingly called him Morpheus, and at first he got annoyed, but then he realized it's just high schoolers, like whatever. Yeah. So he went along with it and ignored us and just like yeah whatever. So I remember we had it was a class trip to somewhere, and he was on there, and we would joke, we would tease him playing the Matrix soundtrack whenever he walked towards us. And you were talking about all the people with the outfits and all that stuff, and I just remembered that guy. I cannot remember his name, but we just called him Morpheus. Father Morpheus, how you doing? We would just tell him Father Morpheus, and I think he was secretly despising us, but you know,
most likely
we were kids.
I'm pretty sure. You're kids. I mean, that's what you guys do. You get on the nerves of them. But yeah, man, I'm so excited. I'm all in for this. I know Gabe is super excited. I'm pretty sure Gabe is going to break out his duster for the premiere of that.
Oh yeah, he better.
You know, he's a huge Matrix nut. So when this drops out, it's they're doing that day and date with HBO Max, so I might just watch it at home, honestly.
I canceled my HBO Max subscription, so we'll have to see how I watch that movie. You can probably guess what I'll do, but I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
There was a really dumb article, by the way, where I think it was Screen Rant. They do a lot of clickbaity stuff to get people to read their dumb articles, and one of them was like, pirating is a lot less with Shang-Chi than with Black Widow. I'm like, no shit.
Yeah.
Because one is streaming and easily accessible for people to pirate in freaking 4K. Yep. And the other is a movie theater only, so people would have to cam rip that movie, which they're not going to do because of COVID. Yeah.
Me being completely transparent, these kind of same... So a lot of the movies that are coming out as a theater are coming out on Amazon Prime, where you can get the early access to it. I love that because there are certain websites that you can find these movies that you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but I know a lot of people pirated the crap out of The Green Knight.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I mean, I may or may not have just seen Anthony Bourdain's documentary that way. So.
Michael Collins, shout out to my boy here. I went to Catholic school too. We had a priest teacher that we called Morpheus too. Yeah, I mean, that's one of those parallel thinkings all throughout the world where we just, all the kids just had that idea. Like, Father Morpheus. HBO Max is awesome. It is. It's just, I have a problem of getting into a streaming service to watch older stuff. Same thing happened when Disney Plus started. I'm like, I don't know about this. I really don't want to revisit these things. They're fine. They're great, but I want to watch new stuff over and over. And that happened to me with HBO Max. Honestly, I just got it for the Zack Snyder Justice League and Godzilla vs. Kong. That was it. I didn't care about Space Jam or Mortal Kombat or whatever. I'm like, nah, I'm out. So I canceled it last month. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I am tempted to watch Dune and Matrix on that app.
that first year of Disney Plus was kind of a disappointment. I remember people signing up for it and being like, "There's really not much here," and I think that was in part because of COVID, if I remember right. I think COVID delayed a lot of stuff that was supposed to drop during that first year.
Yeah, the Marvel stuff was supposed to start early last year or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Disney Plus owes a lot to the Mandalorian.
Oh, for sure. That saved it. Because
Yeah.
before The Mandalorian, I remember we even talked about it on this show. I wasn't feeling it. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I can watch 100 reruns of Simpsons, but like, come on.
Mhm.
But it really saved the app. And right now it's solid because every month we're getting high profile releases after the next. So
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to. I think we still have Hawkeye and Miss Marvel left for this year. So I'm excited for those two shows.
Is Hawkeye next after the What If stuff?
I think Hawkeye's next.
Okay.
Let me check here on good old Google. Marvel Universe. Hawkeye comes out November 24th.
Okay. So this is gonna be a minute.
6 episodes. And then Miss Marvel drops. And Miss Marvel is probably going to be early next year. Oh no, late 2021. So I assume it's going to be in December. Miss
Most
Marvel.
likely. Yeah, most likely. That's where we're gonna get our first glimpse of the Inhumans in the MCU, Gio.
Watch them change all that crap and be like, nah, she's the first mutant, son. And then they go like, Black Bolt and Medusa, they're X-Men now. They're mutants.
Oh, don't do that to you.
And they just erase the Inhumans from existence.
Oh, don't do that to you. Let's bring back the cast of the Inhumans, huh? Let's do that.
On paper, it should have worked because the actors, they were
Great.
terrible.
They were great actors.
Yeah. The guy that's in the Star Trek show, I can't remember his name right now, and he did the Western show about the train and the cowboys. The one I'm talking about, Hell on Wheels, I think it was called.
Yep.
He was great on that, so I was really excited. I think they got good people, especially the dude from Game of Thrones playing Maximus the Mad, which was perfect casting. It was just the script was garbage, and the CGI and everything else was pretty bad.
Lockjaw was cool.
I think I only care about Lockjaw. Of course, he's the best dog in comics. Sorry, Crypto. Sorry. That's just the truth. Crypto is an overpowered pooch. I'd much rather play with Lockjaw. Lockjaw just wants to sit around and do nothing and eventually play with his toys and teleport everybody to safety.
I love those first few issues of Miss Marvel where Lockjaw's introduced as her pet. They're great.
Yeah. I think, honestly, did you go to Jesuit high school? No, just regular Roman Catholic shenanigans. What was I going to say? Miss Marvel. I think at some point in her series, we'll see Lockjaw. Maybe as an Easter egg or something at the end of the season, if it gets renewed for season 2 or something like that. Yeah. So the last item on the list here, guys, is did you see the Injustice movie trailer?
No, I didn't see that.
I don't like the animation's all right. It's not the best. I don't dig it like other DC animated movies, but that's going to be cool. I'm excited for that. It's going to be adapting the game plot, not the comics, because the comics are said before, in the middle, and right after. So I think the movie just adapts the plot of the game itself.
That was Tom Taylor that wrote those comics, right?
He wrote the comics, but the game was the people from Ed Boon and Mortal Kombat guys with a couple of supervisors from DC Comics. I don't remember whom.
Okay. Man, it's crazy how in the last few years how much Tom Taylor's been the guy. He's been putting out quality content the last few years.
Oh, yeah. Bast says, I'm so tired of Injustice. I never got tired of it because I didn't really bother with the comics. I read a few of them and they're great, but I just cared about the plot in the games because they progressed the story forward. So I just played the 2 games. Actually, scratch that. I played the first one. I own it. And the second one, I really didn't want to go into it, so I just looked up the movie cutscenes on YouTube and was fine with that. Yeah, I wasn't gonna pay a $60 game because I was not gonna connect with anybody to play it online, and it was just me. I'm like, I'm not gonna play a fighting game by myself, so I just Googled or searched Injustice 2 movie, and it's all the CG scenes cut together in one 2-hour movie. I'm like, yeah, I'll watch that.
Yeah, not a big fighting game fan on this side either. I'll play them, but not
I
like
love them. It's just I'm terrible at them, but I love that fighting games. You have wonderful characters. DC animation is so good. Yeah, Warner Brothers, man. Warner's on animation. They have a lot of revolving artists for their work. And it sucks that the Marvel What If, you got Disney, known as one of the pillars of animation in the history of the medium. You should have done a 2D What If, honestly.
Do you think they cheaped out on that one a little bit?
I think they did.
Okay.
Because honestly, a lot of people, like, you have to be super hardcore into Marvel stuff and comic book and animation to watch What If. Because I know a lot of people that enjoy the Marvel movies, but the idea of What If, like, nah, I don't want to watch that stuff because it's animated. They don't want to go into that. If it's live action, they'll watch it.
Yeah,
I feel like that happened with a lot of people.
I could see that, and the whole concept of What If, even though Feige has said, "Hey, it's canon. Some of this stuff is going to fit into the MCU." I could see a lot of people just going, yeah, but it's okay," there's a huge amount of people that go to these MCU movies because they're movies, they're cultural phenomenons and stuff like that. I think going forward, it's going to be a bit tricky to balance that out because not everybody's going to see Loki. Not everybody's going to see, the Marvel series that they have coming out. They're just interested in the movies, and they think, these are just kind of spin-offs. I don't have to watch this. But as we saw in the end of Loki, a lot of this stuff is pretty pertinent. It's pretty important.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, that final episode. I saw some people that are movie reviewers and they didn't care for Loki. They stopped at like episode 3. I'm like, no, we got to watch the last one. Like, you really have to watch the last one, even if you don't care about anything else. So here's the title card and poster for the Injustice movie. Looks awesome. I do want to check it out. I don't know if I'll buy it because I kind of stopped because it's a huge rabbit hole. They're not going to stop. I'm like, man, I have way too many of these movies on my shelf. So I just stopped at when the Apocalypse movie that nobody liked, when that came out, I got it. And since that was the end of the connected animated movie universe, I said, you know what, this is a good stopping point. And eventually, if I'll get any of the other movies, if I find them for cheap. But I'm not getting any of them. But yeah, Injustice, I'll probably check it out because I did enjoy the game. But I do agree with some people. They're just tired of Superman is evil. Let's go. It's just the game was revolutionary because they pulled it off really well. And now they took that into like comic book spin-offs and like all the new media that's coming out. Like you see that in the Boys live action and Invincible animated show where you have a good character play bad roles like that, or like an inverted thing. I don't know. I know The Boys is an adaptation from a comic book. I understand, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. But for me, The Boys is actually, I think, better than the comic, which is odd because usually it's the other way around for me.
Yeah, I tried reading the comic book, and it wasn't for me, so I haven't tried the show yet.
I think it's better. I think they cut out what they need to cut out. Some of I love Garth Ennis. He's one of my favorite writers working today. His sense of humor doesn't always land. It can be kind of immature and childish.
And I think they cut out a lot of the stuff that really doesn't work and keep what does.
Nice. I just suggested the Injustice Omnis to a friend who is big into superhero games. He freaked out when I casually mentioned they tied into the game. Yeah. And I like that some people got the books without knowing anything. I'm like, you kind of like read the book and then you at least watch the cutscenes on YouTube to keep the story going, because it's supposed to be a prequel, the Omnibus. Also, shout out to Maximus. Thank you for joining from Roman times. You made it all the way here. God bless. Did anybody read Monsters? Did you read Monsters?
No, haven't
What
read
monsters are we talking about?
It's Monster by Urasawa? Is that what he's talking about?
Or Monster from Barry Windsor Smith? Is it Monster? Is that the title?
Have you read Monster by Urasawa?
Yes. I watched the anime and I own the manga.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Did it? Okay, so for me, did it lose steam for you? Because I dropped. This is the only Urasawa book that I've ever dropped, and I know I need to come back and read it. Did it lose steam for you a little bit, kind of halfway through?
Not for me per se,
Okay.
but I can see why you would drop it, because it's a pretty long ass story, and the
Yeah.
nature of it, it's not. It doesn't lend itself to like a page turner every single time, by default of it being a crime noir.
Mhm.
I get it, but maybe watch the show instead.
Okay.
Maybe that'll like pump you up to go back and read the story. But the
Okay.
anime is fantastic. I recommend it. If anybody doesn't want to read manga for whatever reason, watch the show. I thought they pulled off a great adaptation. 64 episodes, so it's not too long.
But they still haven't brought it to the U.S., right? There's no Blu-ray or anything like that of it in the U.S., right?
Nope. We only had, and I think I've told you the story. I only have the first 15 episodes. Viz licensed the show, and they released one DVD box set, which I own, and I guess it didn't sell well for a Viz Media title, I guess, and they canceled it. So all I have is the first 15 episodes. I do have it signed by one of the main voice actors from the dub and everything. So yeah, I would suggest picking up the Region 2 release. That came out one solid Blu-ray set.
Okay.
I don't know if you have. Do you have a region-free Blu-ray player?
I don't, but I mean, this day and age, you could find anything online if you look hard enough.
Yeah, I would recommend that. I've been wanting to buy a region-free player just so I can buy random movies that we can't get over here in America. So Veg TV, sorry if I butchered that, said yes, the Barry Windsor Smith. I haven't read that. A couple more questions, guys, before we wrap up. Omar said he was surprised by the comic adaptation. Guess it is something you'd have to check for yourself. Oh, for Injustice. Yeah. Yeah, because he wasn't a fan of adaptations of video games into other medium or something like that. I don't know. Whatever Omar said. God bless him. Any news on when Saga is finally coming out of hiatus? Tell you what, it's not going to be this year. That's all I know.
No, it's not happening this year.
Maybe we'll get an announcement, but I doubt it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I expect maybe next year. I think it's a damn shame, to be honest with you. It's a great story. I want to see how it ends.
The PlayStation 3 Blu-ray player is region free. What? Is that true?
Did not know that, if that's true.
Oh.
So
yeah, go ahead.
You saw we're getting Berserk chapters, right? Like, or at least one new chapter is coming out soon.
The final chapter that Miura was working on when he passed away, that got finished up with the storyboards and all that stuff. So that is what's being published in the Young Animal magazine.
Okay.
With a volume 41 at the end of the year in December. Okay. A lot of people are speculating. Is it ending? Are they going to continue? We don't know yet. They're just focusing on putting all the stuff that he worked on out there and paying tribute to him, because the final chapter and magazine will have a tribute with people drawing stuff in it and messages and all that stuff. And then the final chapter, the final book, sorry, volume 41 will have like a drama CD or something like that, along with some special illustrations. So if we a conclusive announcement would probably be by the time that volume 41 comes out, or maybe early next year.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to continue. That's just my hunch. Who knows? Maybe they will, because Berserk sells a ton of cash. They make a lot of money on worldwide.
Yeah, I had heard that. Well, there's speculation, rumors always with this stuff, but there was always speculation apparently that Miura, he was he had told his assistants and the people that he worked with on the book, this is how it's going to end. This is kind of the major beats.
Yeah.
And there's been kind of rumors floating around that they're considering continuing the story and just wrapping it up based on those beats. So who knows? He might have left extensive notes. You never know.
Yeah, I like usually a mangaka would talk with his producers and the main editors of the magazine. They have to know a vague outline of what's happening because it's their magazine that they're putting their work on or stuff like that. So he might have shared some info, but I don't know. What I would suggest, if there is something that people can grab onto, make a like a novel and just write it out for people to have that. Because yes, the staff can draw like him, but it's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
Like the thing, like you can replicate the art, but it's his story and his alone to tell, and he's not here anymore. So I don't know. It's weird. Well, I'm fine with whatever option they go with.
I mean, hey, Oda just said again that he feels this is like the last huge chunk of One Piece. So what that means, who knows? He could have another 100 chapters under his belt.
Another 5 years, folks.
He's been saying that for how long? That this is like the last major part.
I think I've read that like twice now in doing YouTube stuff here. I've read like 2 articles of him saying it's in the final phase, guys. Like, all right, buddy. I hope he finishes it. I want him to finish because I think, depending on that ending, I mean, One Piece is already a celebrated series worldwide, but depending on that ending, it could elevate itself to like masterpiece levels.
Yeah.
Oxmeat Pete, thank you for watching and finishing all of Cowboy Bebop. You watched it yesterday and loved it. Thanks for the recommendation. I think if Berserk is finally over, that might bode even better for the hardcovers. I know a few non-manga fans that were not interested in buying an incomplete series.
So,
yeah.
One last, I mean, we're kind of starting to wrap up in a little bit, but one last thing I wanted to get your take. I think I've asked you this before, but I don't remember. I had heard that, because I'm not caught up with Berserk at all. Like, I'm really far behind. But I stopped after Golden Age. Because the stuff after Golden Age just kind of didn't do it for me as much. It didn't hit the same highs. I know people keep saying, keep going. It gets great again. Do you feel where it ended well enough that fans can get some sense of closure? Because I had heard yes, I had heard no.
From an emotional aspect, there is a conclusion there.
Okay.
But in terms of world building and all the stuff that Miura was setting up, I'm frustrated because there were some really amazing things that happening and a lot of lore that was getting explored, because after the Golden Age, without spoiling anything, it does get a little bit more magical, I would say, with certain characters and abilities and stuff like that and settings. And I know the Golden Age, everybody loves it. I do too. But the stuff afterwards, especially the progress for our main character, I like it even more, just for that alone. And the evolution of Guts. You owe it to yourself to read what he goes through in the subsequent volumes.
Okay.
And did you get to read about Shirky, or you haven't met her yet?
I have not met her yet. Dude, I stopped with the giant moth thing.
Oh, Mothra. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that.
No, keep going after that, because Shirky, she's one of my favorite characters from that franchise. And I think she's a wonderful addition to the mythos.
Okay, cool.
If you like Cowboy Bebop, watch Outlaw Star. It's on Hulu. Yeah, Bebop is better, but Outlaw Star is good. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people have fond memories of early Adult Swim watching Bebop, Trigun, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Outlaw Star.
Mm-hmm. I do.
Is it Netflix Cowboy Bebop bad, or is it just people that don't like it that has been that don't like that it has been adapted to live action? We only have pictures so far, so we can't judge it. Uh, just know that it's a separate thing. I hate that people go, "Oh, this is going to be terrible. It's going to ruin the anime." Nothing is ever going to ruin the anime because that already aired. That's already part of you that you like.
Yeah.
How can this other thing ruin that experience for you? No. I think people need to calm down just a little bit and see how the show works. I don't know. Could be good.
Yeah.
Could be bad. I'm gonna watch it, but I don't think it's gonna be better than the show. No way, no how. But I think people need to calm down a little bit when it comes to that stuff.
You want to talk about a damn shame? Trigun never getting anything other than a DVD release here in the States.
We still haven't gotten the Blu-ray transfer. I don't know why. I don't know what's holding that up. Probably a licensing issue or something. But come on, it's been more than a decade.
Yeah,
and we still don't have. I mean, the movie was out on Blu-ray, but we never got the show on Blu-ray.
that's a shame.
To be fair, a lot of Western live-action adaptations of anime turn out awful. Yeah. Anime is such a unique storytelling medium compared to other stuff that it's just really hard. I mean, yeah, they haven't done a single one that's worked so far. And you have to pick the right property. Like an Urasawa book would work fantastic in live action.
Monster? A live action monster?
Yeah. Monster or his short stories, 20th Century Boys. It did have Japanese films, but a more modern remake. I would have said Death Note, but then look what we got. What else? Freaking, I don't know. Blade of the Immortal. Even though a lot of people hate the Takashi Miike live action movie. Battle Angel Alita. A lot of people dug that, but that was sort of a hybrid.
I think there's a good 3 seasons of 20th Century Boys for adaptation. I think there's a solid 3 10-episode seasons. You could end the first season with the events that happened I'm trying to be vague because I love that story so much. The events that happened that one night with the machine.
I have zero recollection of 20th Century Boys. I only read one volume back in a year and a half ago because I wanted to get the perfect editions.
Yeah.
And I gave my volumes. I had 1 or 2 volumes and I gave them away to a friend. I'm going to upgrade to the perfect editions. It's 2021. I forgot. I haven't read it. So we'll see. All right, everybody. That's about it. I got to go. It's late. Thank you, everybody, for supporting this show. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry that we ran a little bit late, but you got almost an hour and a half content here of goodness. Let me remind you that all the stuff that we talked about, whether it was comic book based or manga based, the original source material you can find at our sponsor, InStockTrades.com. You can get your favorite collected editions, omnibus, trade paperbacks, all that fun stuff. Just go to InStockTrades.com. $50 or more gets you free shipping, wonderful packaging, fantastic customer service, and stay tuned at the end of the month for the $50 gift card giveaway, courtesy of InStockTrades.com. And before we go, Lou, do you want to tell everybody about the Patreon that you host?
Yeah, man. So Gabe and I, we just had a show last Saturday, The Campfire. So for $5 a month, the link is found in the description below. You get to join Gabe and I in what we call The Campfire. So it's a bunch of us. We get together through a Zoom call, kind of like you and I are doing right now, Gio, and we shoot the shit for about 2 hours.
Nice.
Last Saturday, we had about 7 or 8 people that joined us. It was really fun. It's Gabe and I unfiltered. We talk about just about anything that people ask us in the Zoom conference call. Some stuff we probably shouldn't talk about.
But still, we have a great time. So $5 a month gets you invited to the Zoom meeting. $1 gets you access to the audio of that, and I think that the video is there as well, if I'm not mistaken, with Gabe. So check that out, guys. For the price of a cup of coffee, you help Gabe and I out specifically.
It's still saved, right? People can go back and listen to it.
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
The archive is there. I believe Gabe posted either the next day or that night of when we finish up.
Got it. Nice. Well, everybody, that's about it. Thank you to the chat. You guys are lively as always. Thank you for supporting this Wednesday stream. We'll be back tomorrow for a manga stream. I'll be there hosting, and we're going to talk some cool stuff. Got some guests lined up for that. And then we'll be back Monday to do it all over again with hauls, previews, and reads. Comics Guide, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Comics Guide 101 on Twitter and Comics Guide 101 on YouTube. I should have, like I said, my review up for the Ed Gein book sometime this weekend or in the next few days. So be on the lookout for that, as well as a few other things.
Nice. And myself, you can find me on my channel, A Week in Geekdom, where I talk about anime, manga, comics, all that fun stuff. Subscribe if you can. That's A Week in Geekdom. Thank you, everybody. God bless. Stay safe out there. We'll catch you tomorrow on another episode of Omnibros Live.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. And go read some Aquaman books or something. I don't know. You do that.